I want to welcome our very first talk of the day. The talk is titled Future is Now from Metropolis to Serenity, and this is going to be a talk given by Hsiao-Wei. She's already here. I'll have her turn her video on and really kick us off with her very first talk. And thank you so much for kicking us off today.
Thanks, Kartik. Let me share my screen. Could you see the screen?
Great, perfect.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. So my topic is about the future is now and from the Metropolis to Serenity. I'm Hsiao-Wei. I'm a researcher at Ethereum Foundation. You can find me by these handles, and here we are. So first, these pictures are taken after the East London last year. Some of our team visited the British Museum thanks to ETHGlobal, yay. And the right picture was taken by Diederik, aka the Proto Lambda. And so it was as an Ethereum nerd, it was me taking a picture of the Byzantine gold coins. So these Byzantine coins were minted in Constantinople over 1,000 years. And just a couple years ago, Ethereum used the Byzantine and Constantinople as the release code names. So when I visited the museum at that time, I was wondering if our code, each line of a code on the Ethereum history today will be read and be used by people after 1,000 years. So yeah, that's the magic of the history. And I think we can actually learn a lot from the past and to build the better future. So here we are. These are the Ethereum releases. I say it's the phases, and so everything was landed in 2015 in July. The POW, the proof of work chain, landed. So we started from the frontier with a very small community supporters. And then the next release was the home state, which provides some stabilized upgrades that just as a it's an announcement how to tell the people that our Ethereum is ready to vote future upgrades. And then since 2017 to now, we are in the age of the Metropolis. So as the Ethereum, the ecosystem growing bigger and bigger, we have established the government systems like the EIP process, and by design review and implemented this EIPs, we have a lot of the EVM enhancements and block reward adjustments in the past few years. And Metropolis is still continuous growing. And at the same time, the next stage, the Serenity stage is already happening right now. The Serenity contains the proof of stake and scaling solutions. So what is Serenity? So I'd say we sometimes call it like Serenity Eth2 is Seren 2.0. These names are, but generally the Serenity-ish and the timeline was like the things happened before the moth paper in, I think it was 2016 by Talik, and by that time there were just a couple researchers in the early years, and maybe the founders of Ethereum that have started to do the proof of stake study and research. And then we have the hybrid consensus stage. I will explain that later. And now we are at the beacon chain research and the merge research and development. This phases, this stages might be in parallel in some way, because each topic has its can be done by a small group of people and then growing to be implemented in the mainnet. So the moth paper, yeah, I think like maybe the most Ethereum client developers has read this paper. So back to 2019, the basic shape of Ethereum 2.0 has already been established. And in this paper that we have like 6 main goals. First, of course, we want to remove the proof of work to have a more efficient proof of stake consensus. And things like fast block time and economic finality, these properties could become with can go with the proof of stake automatically. And then we want to scale the Ethereum. In this paper, the main design is the shard chain design. So the shard chain is like you have multiple side chains, but the side chain is not the side chain listen to the main chain. The main chain also has to listen to the shard chain from time to time. So by this communication from the main chain to the side chain, then we can implement the cross-shard communication via the core main chain. And then the last one is the censorship resistance. It's like if we want to remove the proof of work, then there will be we will need to find the leader of the blockchain of the certain block every time. But so the risk is that if a rich attacker have enough staking power, then could it censorship the blockchain easily? So we want to reduce that possibility as we can. So back to the early stage, what lessons we learned from the Casper proof of stake? So this is the Casper FFG paper. So in the very long time ago, that there's already some main properties that still they are the same as the today in the beacon chain we used. For example, we have the validators to make deposits on the current chain, so that if the validator doing something badly, then the lender sorry, let me see. Oh, so if the validator do something bad, then they will take the economic slash. So if they did something good, then they will get incentive rewards from the protocol. Also, the proof of stake protocol provides the settlement finality, or we say the economic finality. And also, we proved that the Casper FFG can guarantee the accountable safety and the possible liveness. If you're interested in learning Casper, you can go read this paper. And back to today, it's still very useful. Let's see. And also the lesson we learned about sharding. So sharding is also not novel, even in a few years ago, but there are some bottlenecks that make it difficult to be useful today. And so, for example, the computation ability and networking capacity, if you have one blockchain, and how could you scale to like 64 or thousands of the chains? And then also it has the same issue as the Casper, as the proof of stake system, because you have to select some of the validators to prove that again, I say to validate the certain block is correct. And then these lessons we learned. And then to make it step by step, the first practical implementation was the hybrid consensus FFG. So there is this is the like a basic outline of that version of design. You can see that there are two different contracts. One is the Casper contract, and another is the sharding manager contract. So in this design, there were two different contracts, and each contract we accept the validator will make deposit on each contract, and then if each contract controls the consensus in the contract layer, and then if validator want to make vote to prove that they have attest some certain history, then they have to make EVM transaction to the contract. So yeah, that was the design back to then. And except that, like for example, Casper FFG will change the fork trust rule, and the sharding manager contract will of course change the client architecture largely. So what we learned from that stage is that we learned how to do some blockchain, how to provide the blockchain randomness. So as I said, the censorship resistance is important. So it's important to make the attacker to be very difficult to manipulate the randomness result. So the most popular and practical approach, including the Randall and BDFs, which is the future Ethereum might use. And the second one is the by studying sharding, then we know that the data availability is really important. And also to decide the future shard chains, like statelessness, the stateless client and the account abstraction client, the account abstraction contracts. These different new chain futures are likely to be used in the later event or client decide. That's what the Eth1.x is working on. And then the Casper FFG research. So the FFG research back to then already formed the slashing condition rules and the procedure to handle the inactivity leak penalty. So these things are still being used today. But finally, the hybrid Casper is doable, but the sharded hybrid Casper is really hard. So back to then, we realized that we should have started with a new for a proof of stake chain. So let's open the beacon chain age. So here we are. This is the overview of the picture of the beacon chain design. We will edit the beacon chain, which is a full proof of stake chain, to provide finality, randomness, and as the core of the shard chains to anchor on. So we already have like 4 production available Eth2 client when on the day 1 we launched the beacon chain last year. So yeah, shout out to the client devs. And then back to now to today, we already have like over 3.9 million ethers are in staking, and over like 122,000 validators are running their beacon nodes and validated clients. So learning from the beacon chain R&D in we are still learning. The first is so validated client and beacon chain separation is good because it provides it's more flexible and more scalable. Also, if we separate the validated client, which handle the validating with the keys, and the beacon node handle the network, P2P network, then we can have make the key management more secure. And also the staking user experience was really important. It includes like how a newbie staker learn to manage their keys and to make deposit and to upgrade the softwares. So I'd like to thank to the staker community. They really helped a lot. And the last thing is, I think the devs generally likes the incrementalism patches in development. So example, like we will have the first beacon chain hard fork called the Altair this year, and which will increase some features of the light clients. And in the future, R&D they are already in process, but in parallelly. So each patches in the different code base, we can merge it. It's not necessary to be one should be before another or another should be after another. Then the merge, finally it's the merge summit. So yeah, we will, the merge is about merging the current Eth1 mainnet and the Eth2 mainnet to be one Ethereum. So it's the previous picture, but the differences is that we add the beacon, the proof of work block into the beacon block, but we don't have to include the whole block because the mining will be disabled by then. So it's only the execution payload will be included in the beacon block. So after the proof of after the merge, the beacon chain will become the executable beacon chain. And to learn more, the talk after this will show you the full picture of the merge by a lectureman after me. And if you want to learn more about the post-merge Ethereum, Vitalik will talk about how it comes after the merge today. But what about you want to participate in now? Then if you want to communicate and found some interesting issues to hack, you're welcome to go to the Eth2 R&D Discord server. Thanks to Proto for making this fabulous website URL, and all the Eth1, Eth1.x, Eth2 developer discussions are on that. So it's now the new development hub now for Ethereum community. And also we have the ETH research forum. So we can go to the ethresearch.ch and found the Eth1 to Eth2 transition category. That's the merge related topics. But if you want to learn other topics, other scaling topics, there are also many layer 2 scaling solutions like rollups on that. And also you can start with the good first issue today to find a project that you're interested in, and then read the contribute guide on that and pick one tackle an issue. Maybe try to use the good first issue label. And also just want to let you know that don't be scared to ask on that. There's channels you see like GitHub or Discord or maybe Gitter. So I think the open source software community are usually really glad to see the contributors are coming. So, well, the want to say is that the Ethereum history is not very long yet. So, but then it's good because we can took the lessons from the past. The previous work built the previous work by the early researchers, developers, they helped build our present. And from the Metropolis to Serenity, we are building the future right now. So thank you for your time. I think I talked too long. Oh. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hsiao-Wei. This was a really good overview of how we got from all of our initial attempts to look at any from sharding to Casper to FFG to the gadgets, and now we're at the merge. So I think you did a really awesome job at just setting the context into what's been tried before, and that really sets us up for the rest of the day, because we're going to have a lot more details on how everything that you talked about has affected the state of the merge and just what happened with E2. So with that, I want to thank you for giving this very first talk for today, and also for staying up super late to do this from your time zone.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's an overview. So hope awesome. You will enjoy the later presentations. Thank you.
No, this was, I think, just to kind of make sure that I address one single comment. We have a question from Gabriel who's asking, what was the link to the Discord server. I believe it's just eth2.wtf and discord.eth2.wtf. Is that correct?
Oh, let me go to that page again. Oh, I will share the.
We'll type that up on the chat as well, and we'll coordinate that. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll just write that answer in the chat. So thank you so much. And with that, we are ready to move on to our next talk.